All right, Try. That was it for today's study group. Breaking down practice questions. Bit of a heavy one, but like how I do. Honest feedback. Did you like the group? Not like the group? You're done with these groups? Honest feedback.
Hi, I will go first. First of all, this is my first group. And I think the groups are great. And first of all, because of being a holiday, I would like to say thank you and thank you for your perseverance and your consistency. It seems as though I will be back. So one thing I would think to say, and by this being my first time, and I don't know how the flow goes, but maybe not spending so much time on one of the questions, because as I'm just looking in here and I see you lost quite a few people that could have got something more out of if we would have went through a little bit more questions instead of them dropping off, and they dropped off earlier on as well. So I was just think that maybe not spending so much time, and if they're getting more in depth, maybe that can be more one-on-one versus it going so in depth with everyone, because everybody don't need that. But overall, it was great. That's why I stood in for the entire time. And that's it. I ain't gonna take up too much time, but I like the group. I like the format. I like the breaking down. If I can just say anything, I would just say maybe, because out of the 5 hours, we only had touched four questions. So, and I know, and I like it that is we can go in depth. I really like that, but maybe not so much time on one question, because I think that last question maybe took over an hour and a half, where we could have probably did maybe another question or so, and maybe that could have took on something individual with the individual person, or maybe if they need a little bit more than us that probably got it and couldn't move on. So that was it.
Okay, no, I appreciate that feedback, because I know, like, when we're doing this group, when someone doesn't understand, I really want to try all these different ways, and the tribe gets involved to help the tribe members understand that certain aspect that they didn't understand. But I definitely see how it can, we could have went through more questions and not, we could have went through more questions instead of focusing so much on those particular questions or aspects that someone didn't understand fully. Because so no, I appreciate that. I'm gonna definitely be more mindful of that.
Thank you. And happy holidays, everyone.
Happy holidays.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'll go. I'm sorry. I'll go next. So thank you. So I would, on the contrary, I really do appreciate how in depth, despite the last person's comment, I really do appreciate how you did go in depth on all those questions. This session I did a lot worse than I did previous sessions. And just like, I guess, some other people, I did not understand the rationale for some of the answers. So, being one of those people who do need the explanation, whether it's because I changed my answer or whatever it was, I do appreciate you taking the time out to, explain it to each and every one of us, because we all think different. So I do appreciate your time. You came out on Christmas Eve. Happy holidays to everyone. Happy holidays to you. Ray, you're amazing, like always. Thank you so much. Bye.
Appreciate it. Happy holidays.
Okay, well, I want to say thank you. I appreciate you giving us an opportunity to break down the questions, to give us a better understanding of how we can approach the questions. I agree with MM because I didn't do so great this session, but I appreciate the questions. I appreciate the sessions, and I love this group because it gives me more understanding. It actually builds my confidence. So I appreciate you. Thank you.
No, absolutely. And I'm glad it's building confidence, because I know when it comes to these exams as a whole, that's one of the main things I get emails about, of just taking an exam in the past or even when studying, and it's kind of like speaking to that confidence, right? And I want us to be confident, and doing our practice questions a day, breaking down these questions. And it's okay if we find certain questions challenging, where it's like, what? I never saw the structure of that question, or, oh, I didn't even think to put emphasis on the age of the client in this context, or this particular situation, or this red flag being highlighted. And again, this is all a process. It's okay.
I'd like to go next. Thank you, Ray, for a wonderful session again. And I thank you for the gift, the Christmas gift of learning and your explanation and teaching us. And so I appreciate the time and the explanations, and looking forward all the time for this great session. And Merry Christmas to everybody.
No, absolutely. Definitely thank you for being here. And again, you guys are the tribe. Like, I know you guys are taking, a good handful of you are taking your exam around this time, whether it's, like specifically like next week or in January. So I got you guys.
Hey, thanks again. This is Nadine. Thanks again. You're definitely very helpful in breaking down these questions. And you know what? One of the most things I do love most about you is that you start off passion, you start off eager, and you end that way. You don't get tired of the questions coming at you, even if you got to go through it 2, 3, 4 times. I just love that about you. The way you start your group in the beginning is the way you end, strong. And that got to be appreciated. And that the fact that you work with people in terms of how you process us getting on here, that's a blessing too. And I know that with you, I'm going to probably get my test next time. I'm going to pass it. But the main thing that I appreciate about you is the way you start is the way you end. 3 and 4 hours later, you still end strong, and you got to appreciate that.
No, I appreciate it. And again, like, you guys energize me. Like, I know what it's like not to understand something, not to grasp something, and it could just be frustrating. It could be irritating, frustrating, where you just wanted to connect. And that's why, like, when we're going through it, I'm like, I'm bringing my A game. If I got to use 17 different examples to help you guys like understand and see if like something like clicks, and the other tribe members as well can say something where it's like, hey, I noticed when we looked at this detail or looked at it from this perspective and highlighted this thing, and some others are like, oh yeah, I see, oh, I didn't even think about that, right? And the other tribe members helping and everything. So that's what it's about. So you guys energize me. I get excited and energized when you guys are getting it, or the gears are turning and just providing this value, because I want you guys to pass. Like, I want you guys to succeed and just continue to flourish in life, honestly.
Thank you, Ray. I want to say thank you for your consistency, your patience. Yes, we could have went through a lot of more questions, but what's the point of that if you're not understanding the questions that has been presented at the time? So it's good to have the information, the knowledge, to have a good 5 questions packed down and understanding versus just going through questions just to get a lot of questions out there. I like how you have patience and you break down each question. So therefore, we can get each question, understand it, and answer it correctly instead of just going through the questions. And that's what, we're probably doing on exams. We're just going through it and not understanding what they're looking for in the answers and in the questions. So, and I do appreciate that, your consistency, your patience, and, coming through on Christmas Eve. Like, who's working on Christmas Eve? So you said you're doing a group. I said I'm coming through. So I do want to say thank you, Ray, for sure.
No, absolutely. And again, like, it's Christmas Eve, but hey, you guys are the tribe. We're all part of the family. So it's like, why not? Why not? Get in these extra questions, and I want you guys to pass. Like, again, I get excited when I get those emails, those comments. Like, that's what really gets me going. That's what I want for you guys.
Ray, I want to say thank you for your time today. I do have like a few things that I wish that could have happened today. This is my first time attending your questions group. I've attended a group in the past, but not the one from the questions. And I kind of expected to get through a little bit more questions than what we did, given the amount of time we've been on Zoom. But it's okay, because I get we're all at different places. But with that being said, maybe we could kind of strategize that, you know, instead of looking too much in depth of it, we have to at some point agree with what they're saying, although we disagree, right? Because when it comes to the exam, it's not going to matter what we think, what Ray thinks, or what anybody else thinks. It's going to matter what is the question, what's the answer. So I mean, I love your time. I love your energy. And I love the fact that you were able to offer a group on Christmas Eve. Like everybody else said, no one is working on Christmas Eve. So for you to take the time out, I just want to say thank you so much. And I will definitely be back no matter how many questions we get through, because I need this to pass the exam. So that's what I need. And I just want to say thank you.
No, absolutely. And I appreciate that. When I say honest feedback, I'm not saying like for you guys to say like, oh, it was the best group ever. I mean, unless you really feel it was the best group ever. But I definitely do think some adjustments can be made where because I'm definitely going to still try my best to make sure that like everyone understands it, but just kind of being able to put a bit of a cap on it and say we're going to get through a bit more questions when we're doing the practice questions, because I do want to be able to offer you guys more questions, so finding more of a happy medium. So I appreciate the feedback.
Hey Ray, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to everyone. I've been coming to the groups for a while. One thing, you're always catering to all of our different learning styles. I really do appreciate that. Some of us that have been in the group for a while, like now when I don't even think about the time, because if you've been coming to the group for a while, you know that time doesn't stop Ray from doing and teaching what he needs to do. And sometimes in the chat, I know people are wanting to know when it's going to end, but from what I've seen the last couple of times, and I think MM's been in a lot of groups with me and Tracy too, like you really don't get caught up in time, or you don't even get caught up in how many times you have to say something to someone. And I think the thing is one of the things with the tribe is that we have had a lot of people in the last couple of weeks are passing this test, and they all say that, you know, you really breaking down and helping us to understand the question so we know how to apply the information has been what has helped them pass. So, you know, I think your strategies work because we're seeing success within the tribe.
No, I appreciate that. And because I definitely, like all the feedback, like I've definitely taken it into consideration, because I want to be able to give the value. I want to be able to give more value and not jeopardize any form of like quality or anything. Because when we're doing the practice questions in particular, or any of the topics, I am going to be mindful about the pace. And as far as the time, again, like we just flowing and everything like that. Yeah, like I just want to make sure that you guys are, you know, this is your time. Like this is my time, but this is also your time. So I want to make sure it's worth it, you know, like you get something out of coming here. Thank you guys for attending. I appreciate everyone, all the tribe members, and happy holidays to you and your loved ones. And I'll see you next Saturday.
Yes, we will.
Bye, Ray.
Good going.
All right, bye guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye, John.